you tired of feeling like time is flying by faster than you can keep up? Do you ever wonder why a minute can feel like an eternity in a boring meeting, but a whole hour can pass in the blink of an eye during a fun activity? Well, get ready to have your mind blown, because in today's episode of TechNation, we're delving into the fascinating world of the psychology of time perception. And let me tell you, the details we're about to unveil are nothing short of astonishing. So, sit tight, grab some popcorn, and prepare to be glued to your screen as we explore the secrets behind how our brains experience time. Time is something we all experience every day, yet it remains one of the biggest mysteries of the universe. Why does it seem to drag on forever during a boring meeting, but fly by during a fun activity? And why does it seem to speed up as we get older? These are just some of the questions that have puzzled scientists and philosophers for centuries. But today, my dear viewers, we're going to delve into the fascinating world of the psychology of time perception. Why is this important, you ask? Well, for starters, understanding how we perceive time can help us make the most of our lives. By learning how to manipulate our perception of time, we can make tedious tasks feel less unbearable and enjoyable activities feel more fulfilling. And on a broader scale, understanding time perception can help us better understand how the brain works and how we experience the world around us. Time perception refers to our subjective experience of the passage of time. It's the way we feel time passing, how we remember past events, and how we anticipate future ones. But the interesting thing is that time perception is a highly subjective experience. What might feel like an eternity to one person can feel like a split second to another, and this can be influenced by a variety of factors. So, why is time perception such a subjective experience? The answer lies in how the brain processes information related to time. The brain is constantly taking in sensory information from the environment and processing it into meaningful experiences. When it comes to time, the brain uses a variety of cues to determine how much time has passed, such as changes in light, temperature, or sound. But because these cues can vary from person to person, our perception of time can differ. Furthermore, time perception can be influenced by a variety of other factors, such as our emotions, attention, and memory. For example, when we're engaged in an enjoyable activity, time seems to fly by, while when we're bored or anxious, time seems to drag on forever. This is because our emotions can influence how we process time-related information in the brain. In terms of attention, when we're focused on a task or activity, we tend to be more accurate in our time perception. However, when our attention is divided, such as when we're multitasking, our perception of time can become distorted. Our memory also plays a role in time perception. The way we remember past events can affect how we perceive time in the present. For example, if we have a vivid memory of a particular event, it can make it feel like it happened more recently than it actually did. Let's start with emotions. Have you ever been stuck in a boring lecture or meeting, where every second feels like an hour? That's because negative emotions, like boredom or anxiety, can make time seem to drag on and on. On the other hand, when we're having fun or experiencing something new and exciting, time seems to fly by in an instant. So, if you want time to move quickly, just make sure you're always having a blast. Next up, attention. When we're focused on a task or activity, time seems to pass more quickly. That's why time seems to fly by when we're in the zone, working on a project or playing a game. But when our attention is divided, such as when we're multitasking, time can seem to slow down. So, if you want time to move quickly, just put all your focus on one thing at a time. It's multitasking that's the real time killer. Finally, our memory can also affect our perception of time. When we have vivid memories of past events, it can make it feel like they happened more recently than they actually did. On the other hand, when we don't have many memorable experiences, time seems to blur together, and it can feel like it's passing more quickly than it actually is. So, if you want to make time seem to move more slowly, just make sure you're creating lots of memorable experiences. Our emotions, attention, and memory can all affect how we perceive time. So, the next time you're stuck in a boring meeting, just remember that it's all in your head. And if you want time to move quickly, just make sure you're having fun, staying focused, and creating lots of memorable experiences. See, time perception isn't so mysterious after all. It's all about the way we experience the world around us. Have you ever heard someone say that time seems to fly by as they get older? It's a common experience that many people can relate to. But why does this happen? How does our perception of time change as we age? Research has shown that as we get older, our perception of time tends to speed up. This means that as we age, a year seems to pass more quickly than it did when we were younger. But why does this happen? One reason is that as we age, our brains process information more efficiently. This means that we can take in and process information more quickly than we could when we were younger. As a result, our brains are able to process more information in a shorter amount of time, which can make it seem like time is passing more quickly. Another reason is that as we age, we tend to have fewer new experiences. When we're young, we're constantly learning and experiencing new things, which can make time seem to slow down. But as we get older and settle into our routines, we have fewer new experiences, and time can seem to speed up as a result. Lastly, our perception of time can also be influenced by our overall sense of well-being. When we're happy and content, time seems to pass more quickly. On the other hand, when we're bored or anxious, time can seem to drag on forever. So, what can we do about it? While we can't slow down time itself, there are things we can do to make our experiences of time feel more meaningful and fulfilling. One way is to continue learning and trying new things, even as we get older. This can help us stay engaged with the world around us and create more memorable experiences. Another way is to practice mindfulness and be present in the moment. By focusing on the present and being fully engaged with our experiences, we can make them feel more meaningful and enjoyable, which can make time seem to slow down. One way that neuroscientists study time perception is by using brain imaging techniques such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and electroencephalography, EEG. These techniques allow researchers to observe the brain in action and identify the neural mechanisms that are involved in time perception. Scientists have found that a region of the brain called the striatum is involved in encoding the duration of time intervals. This suggests that the striatum plays a crucial role in our ability to perceive time accurately. In another study, researchers used EEG to study the brain waves of participants as they estimated the duration of time intervals. They found that different frequencies of brain waves were associated with different time intervals. This suggests that different parts of the brain are involved in processing time information at different timescales. Well folks, that's all we have time for today. See what I did there? We've learned a lot about the fascinating world of time perception and how our brains process this elusive concept. From the way our emotions and attention can affect our perception of time, to the ways that age and experience can change how we experience the passing of time, we've covered it all. But remember, even though time may sometimes feel like it's slipping away from us, we can always make the most of the time we have by staying present and engaged with the world around us. So go out there and create some memorable experiences, learn something new, and live in the moment. After all, time is the one thing we can never get back, so let's make every moment count. Thanks for tuning in to TechNation, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more fascinating insights into the world of science and technology.